Yo, Zema everyone. Welcome to Yahazek Reacts, the real Yahazek channel. Today the algorithm has pushed me what I would expect to be a legendary video about Trackmania. Now, for some context, I do know a tiny bit about the game, but I think, if anything, that's gonna make it more interesting for the reaction, because, well, you know, something gets hype, I'll at least understand the context behind what's hype about it, right? I think there's not waste too much time, let's just start with the video.
Narratives always put pioneers. Throughout human history, pioneers have always been met with doubt. Those who dare to think outside the box and challenge current narratives always put themselves at risk of ridicule. As when something new arises which challenges our beliefs, it's often easiest to laugh it off rather than to confront it. But it is because of the pioneers that our species advanced, that despite the mockery, they believed in their ideas and proved that the impossible is indeed possible. In Trackmania speedrunning, this is no different. For over 13 years, players have continued...
Okay. So here's what I understand, right? I think he's gonna talk about how they're, like, just like here, he's talking about pioneers, so basically, like, you know, doing shit that seems so stupid to do. I think he's gonna talk about probably, like, crazy shortcuts, if I had to guess, but...
usually improved and pushed the limits of what was thought to be possible. But still, despite all the advancements players made, there was one shortcut idea that remained so far-fetched that everyone thought it couldn't be done.
Setting them up pretty well with the music.
And then, it happened. This is the story of the impossible shortcut on Trackmania's DO7 race.
Oh shit. That's what the fuck... Sorry. That's what the video is called. I was here trying to be smart with a fucking prediction. I could have just looked up at... Okay, you know what? We don't. Yep.
Let's start by taking a look at the track. DO7 race starts off with a series of jumps up to the first checkpoint.
Yeah, so from what I understand, this game is actually, I think, much harder than it seems, right? Because how many buttons do you have to control? There's like WASD or the arrow keys, whatever the fuck you choose to use. Maybe a controller. Maybe like a space bar I can see for... No, there's no way the game has a jump. But see, it's like super competitive despite that. But I guess it's the same as maybe Geometry Dash, because you know that game, only one button can be silly how hard it can be.
Once you touch it, the car will just slowly roll all the way until you reach the next checkpoint. This red block. This block is an engine off block that shuts off your car's engine. Once you touch it, the car will just slowly roll all the way until you reach the next checkpoint, where the engine turns back on. After that, the track takes a sharp left turn, goes through a loop, and across a high-speed platform.
Are those possible in real life? Loop-de-loops? Is that what you even call them? Or do I just call them that because... Yeah, anyways, my question still stands. Are those possible in real life? Is that something you could see a human do? That'd be cool.
And then it ends with another drop into a dirt area, a sharp turn onto the road, another engine off block, and one final sharp dirt corner, where you have just barely enough speed to reach the finish line. DO7 race is a rather unconventional track, and in order to get a good time...
So it's just like a hard track that's... a bunch of engine offs, dirt. I'm guessing dirt is harder to drive.
Time on it, you need to master many aspects of Trackmania.
Because again, it doesn't look that difficult, but I'm assuming it's the kind of thing that is like way harder than it looks.
Was readily apparent. Driving over engine off blocks is very slow, and Trackmania is all about going as fast as possible.
Makes sense.
So already on the launch day of Trackmania Nations Forever, the player Logism managed to find a shortcut. After picking up the first checkpoint, Logism slowed down and went off the track to the right, then drove around the dirt mountain.
That's fucking cool. Okay, I see. Oh shit, I skipped.
Many aspects off, so our shortcut off before the track to the right.
Alright, that's sick. Okay. I get it now. So, yeah, the thing turns off your engine, so what do? You skip the engine off block. That makes sense. Also, that looks like a very obvious oversight on the dev's part. I wonder if some of the shortcuts here are intentional, like this one, for example.
Then drove around
Because it seems pretty obvious that you could skip it, right?
the track just before the second checkpoint.
Yeah, now the car behind him, which is like, I'm assuming the previous record or whatever. I don't actually know. Now that one is way behind because it's still with the engine off, while this guy is speedrunning here.
Skipping the engine off block and saving around 3 seconds. After that, he drove the best lines that he could, and he clocked in a time of 54.91, the day 1 world record. In
Nice.
the early days, this was the way to go fast on DO7 race.
So, since that looks like a relatively easy checkpoint to do, I'm assuming that's a kind of record that wouldn't hold long, right? Because then all everyone else would have to do is they would just have to do what you did, but better. So, finding a checkpoint only guarantees you like world record for a little bit before better players also get the checkpoint, unless you're also a really good player, in which case it doesn't matter.
The news of the shortcut quickly spread in the community, as it was one of the first big shortcuts found in the game, and many players tried to compete for the world record in the following
Exactly
days.
what I was talking about. Okay.
Once the dust had settled, the record had dropped over 3 seconds, now standing at a 51.66
And it's a different guy now.
by Marius89. Marius had gained time consistently over Lodges and Schwan throughout the track, but the main improvements were a smoother first shortcut and also a better final turn. Players had discovered that because of the engine off block in the ending, taking a wide line in the last turn was faster, because the car would roll faster up the hill towards the finish.
Okay, so like,
After
I'm assuming that's like unusual movement, and so by default you'd want to actually take a shorter turn, because with the engine off it would be quicker, or with the engine on it would be quicker. That's cool.
Marius' record, things quieted down on DO7 for the next little while.
It's not the kind of stuff you think
But
about.
1 year later, in May of 2009, the player Kubayan discovered an even faster shortcut approach. After driving through the first checkpoint, Kubayan jumped out to the right immediately.
Ori music. Oh, I recognize that shit from anywhere. Listen to this.
2009, the player Kubayan discovered an even faster shortcut approach. After driving through the first checkpoint, Kubayan jumped out to the right immediately
so good.
and went on top of the dirt mountain instead of driving around it like the other players had done. He then beelined towards the checkpoint, bounced into it, and respawned.
I don't know
Doing
how
this, he
hard that
reached
looks to do, but that looks okay. That one actually looks proper difficult. Like you have to get the perfect angle landing with like the dirt mounts and stuff.
checkpoint way
Probably.
sooner, but because he respawned, he had no speed for the next part, and he almost got
And what did he respawn
into
if
it,
he lose so much speed?
and
Oh, because he
respawn.
would be like upside down and facing the wrong way, and that would lose even more speed. And then
Doing this,
respawning and losing speed.
He
Okay, that
reached
makes sense.
the checkpoint way sooner, but because he respawned, he had no speed for the next part, and he almost got caught up to again. Still, it was an overall net time gain, and he managed to hold the lead and finished with a 51.32, setting a new world record on the track.
Interesting.
that
It
was
looks like a
just the
shortcut that would save you like 10 seconds, but I guess, yeah, the facing the wrong direction thing is a bit of a problem.
Beginning, because once other players saw the true potential of the new shortcut approach, a big world record battle ensued, and in the span of the next 2 years, the record was lowered all the way down to a 50.27 set by Epic, over 1 second faster than Kuba's original shortcut time. Epic's record though was something else. At the time he drove it in October of 2010, he had beaten the competition by a whopping 44 hundredths of a second.
I know that's wild, but it does. Wow, 44 hundredths of a second. Holy shit. But I guess.
His
I
run
guess
seemed
that's
close to
wild
perfect,
for a game
getting
like
a
this.
fast shortcut in the start and driving cleanly throughout the track overall, and very few players dared to challenge it. His record would go on to stand for over 3 years unbeaten, until finally in December of
3 years. Okay, so it's a really fucking strong record. Okay, I get you.
2013, a new battle ensued. This time there wasn't any big catalyst that caused the hype around DO7, but that month, several players were drawn to the track. On the 3rd of December 2013, the player Kenny KJC would be the first to strike, when he finally managed to beat
Not gonna lie, I
Epic's
read that as
legendary
Kenny
record,
K-
inching out just 4 hundredths of a second in the final turn, and beating one of the oldest world records in the game.
Oh, that is so
Kenny
close.
II
Okay, so like that was
final
400th
turn.
of a second, right?
and beating one of the oldest world
And
records
yet it looks like the cars are pretty much fucking touching. Well, they are for most of them,
the
right?
game. Kenny himself, though, would not hold on to the throne for long, because just 4 days later, Ryulu entered the battle and beat Kenny's record by 0.04 of a second with a 50.19 run.
Big.
But only 4 days after that again,
Big money.
the player
Wait,
raced
so nobody touched the record for 3 years? Is that right? For 3. And then suddenly 3 people in a row race Hans. No, sorry. I'll let him read the name. Riolu and Kenny all fucking started setting the record.
But only 4 days after that again,
I guess if you see action on the map, you're like, oh shit, this is my chance. Okay, people are competing again.
the player Race Hans joined the fray and beat Ryulu with a new world record of 50.10. Ryulu though wasn't having it, and only 2 days later, he entered back with a bomb of a run, 49.87, breaking the 50-second barrier on the track, and beating Race Hans by 0.23 of a second.
Race Hans,
without any new strategies. Ryulu had just consistently gained time throughout the run by driving very optimally and set a very strong record on the track. But Race Hans welcomed the challenge, and just 9 days later, on the 22nd of December, he entered back with a 49.83. This time, Race Hans had gotten a near perfect start, getting far ahead of Ryulu after the respawn. And though he lost a little bit of time near the ending, he held the lead, reclaiming the DO7 world record for himself.
Let's see this. This is gonna be close. Yeah, man, for a map that long to be that close is wild.
The world record had dropped 4/10 lower in less than a month, but it now seemed like finally, players were starting to get close to the limit on the track, and it would be very hard to optimize DO7 further unless anything new was discovered. There had been no major strategy improvements on the track for over 4 years, and DO7 was in desperate need of a pioneer. Someone who would dare to think outside.
Hey, but we talked about pioneers at the start. Clear foreshadowing. Good storytelling. Good storytelling. I love this shit.
The box and revolutionize the way the track would be played for years to come. Someone who would take the next step. That someone was Ryulu.
Oh, him again.
After
Hell
losing
yeah.
his record to Race Hans again, he'd had enough of playing the track the standard way and decided it was time to take things to the next level. Throughout his hours of playing the track, Ryulu had noticed a potential way to save a lot of time on DO7 race by skipping the engine off block before the finish. Because if you manage to jump over the engine off block, your car could still accelerate through the entire last turn.
Oh, okay, like that.
Have to slowly roll up the hill.
That actually looks really close, right?
The entire.
Yeah, but it barely touches. So you need to be like quite a lot faster to skip it, unless you somehow change the angle of jump. Don't really know how it works enough, but maybe, I think he'll explain it.
Could save a lot of time,
Virtual.
but
That's
the only
name
way
of the
to
channel we're
find
watching.
out
I think
was
Virtual will
by
explain
daring
it.
to try it. He started experimenting with the idea, intentionally taking an exceptionally wide line across the platform, using all the space available to him to build up as much speed as possible towards the road. But still, even with near
this makes me want to
driving,
get the game.
he was often a few pixels too short.
Oh, that looks so sad. Come on.
Perfect driving, he was often a few pixels too short.
Yeah, so it's all about just getting that just enough speed.
After doing some analysis, Ryulu discovered that in order to skip the engine off block, he'd need to reach around 343 speed on the jump.
Okay, and what speed was he getting?
He could mostly only get up to around 300.
Oh, we have speed in the bottom right. Okay, 341.
140.
Ah, shit.
He was just a few millimeters away and knew that it had to be possible to get a bit more speed if everything aligned perfectly.
Okay.
So he decided not to waste any more time in practice and started going for runs on the track. And after only a few days of trying, on the 26th of December 2013, Ryulu completely revolutionized DO7 race when he got this run on the track.
Assuming that he skipped the engine here. So he's probably gonna have like a perfect start and then also get the super good, like just enough speed for the jump. Skip the engine off at the end. Great music choice, by the way. Okay, no. See, okay, what I thought he did for a second is like hit his car on that bounce in a way where he didn't have to teleport back. He's like, holy shit, that would be a huge time save, but no. Probably impossible if nobody's done it so far. Way behind here, by the way. Very interesting what he's doing. Intentionally lost speed? What? I hope we get an explanation for what he was doing. Okay, my theory is that he intentionally slowed down to maybe get more time on the speed pads, if it's time-based. If it's not, then I have no idea, to be honest. That's the only thing I can think of. If so we'll go back like here, because he intentionally falls like noticeably behind. There's no way you get a record if you're that far behind unintentionally. Let's see this. Yeah, maybe like here. Nah, but you know what? I don't know. But regardless, slowing down at the start seems to have given him just a bit of a speed boost near the end. Way more. Okay. That's the difference he needed. Hell yeah. Also hovering wheels, of course. Every physics game has to have hovering wheels. Damn, that is big.
Ryulu had done it.
Ryulu.
49 flat. Beating racehounds by 83 hundredths of a second, and being the first person in Trackmania history to skip the DO7 engine off block.
Fuck yeah.
His run overall
What a
was
Chad.
solid. He fell a little bit behind Racehounds' perfect start, but he was playing to get as many attempts to the end as possible.
Oh, I see. So that means this can be optimized even further. I see. Okay.
He got across and gained everything and more back in the final turn.
So he just played the ending so well that he ended up getting ahead despite the fact that he had a bad start. Okay, that is...
Ryulu's record stood for the next few years unbeaten.
Sick.
Whoever wanted the world record on the track would have to face his way, and the perfection needed for the engine off skip.
So that means the next person that gets a better world record would have to do what Ryulu did here, but also get the start correct. So go like full speed at the start, and then also get the cut.
Skip was daunting enough to discourage most players. But in March of 2017, a familiar suspect returned to try to reclaim the record.
Suspect?
Racehounds was back,
him.
And on the 30th of March...
I'm just... AOT corrupted my brain. Never mind, let's keep going.
After learning Ryulu's end approach, he too would manage to skip the engine off block.
Okay, shut the fuck up. And that's a score beaten by quite a bit.
World record
oh no,
just
a bit actually.
Only 2 days later, the player Frevon made a stunning discovery on DO7.
Another
potential new shortcut. Well, not exactly. It was April Fool's 2017, and Frevon decided to share this groundbreaking track with the community. DO7 Finish Cut. A recreation of the ending on DO7, but with a few twists. First off, he had placed boosters before the uphill, allowing you to get up to a ridiculous 370 speed on the jump, and skip the engine off block with ease.
Oh,
also, the checkpoint had been removed so you wouldn't crash into it. With these two changes, Frevon showed that you could theoretically pull off this shortcut jump.
Yeah, but your speed would have to be wildly different from the usual. Ooh, that was nasty. Let's watch that again.
Jump.
Yeah, but your speed would have to be way off. No way someone's actually gonna... I mean, it is called Impossible Trackmania shortcuts, so... Maybe.
In order to bounce towards the finish, Frevon used a technique known as a bug slide, where by landing sideways and drifting, the car will do a very sharp slide, building up a lot of speed.
Okay, I didn't even notice that. See, I'm so... Virtual's video is so good. Like, all these explanations, as a person who just barely knows the game from just like what it... cars go WASD, and then there's the booster thing as well, and engine off, I guess now, I would have had no idea exactly why that works.
With the nose of the car pitching upwards, the underside of the car would bounce against the road border, launching you into the air and towards the finish. Upon seeing this, everyone in the Trackmania community thought, haha, very funny Frevon, as on the original track, this shortcut was clearly impossible. Even on this meme track with unrealistic speed,
But you know, the title of the video, guys, the title of the video.
Point to block your setup, it still took many attempts to get a run that went into the finish. And on the original track, it was even worse, as when your engine is shut off, bug sliding does not work.
Yeah, so you need to get the engine off skip, which is also already super hard to do, as he's established before. And then after that, you somehow need to bug slide.
The only hypothetical scenario where the DO7N shortcut could work would be to somehow skip the engine off block, land sideways,
which we know
on
is
a bug
possible,
slide,
technically.
and bounce from further away with
Oh
the
yeah,
worst
but you'd have
approach
to skip it sideways. We'll see. We'll see where it goes.
right into the finish. Only 2 players in Trackmania history had ever gotten across the engine off block, and nobody in their right mind would throw away an engine off skip for this meme shortcut idea. And for the next while,
Nobody in their right mind.
DO7N shortcut
Yeah, but it's
remained just
Trackmania
that,
players we're talking
an
about. If they're
April Fool's
anything
joke.
as I imagine them to be.
But throughout 2019, the community had a project where players collectively tried to beat all the world records on the campaign tracks in Trackmania Nations Forever. This project led Riolu to return to the game to reclaim the DO7 record from race hunts, setting a new world record of 48.73, still using the normal shortcut way
Okay, yeah,
and
that's what I was
skipping the
wondering.
final engine off block. But
That's
this
a way better record,
also
though.
rejuvenated talks about the DO7N shortcut, and a few players started seriously experimenting with the idea. One of those
Okay,
players
sorry?
was Draw.
Now get a slight RAM bug. No idea what that means. And did he explain it?
3, still using the normal shortcut way and skipping the final engine off block. But this record also rejuvenated talks.
No, he didn't. Okay. Now get a slight RAM bug. Sure. And turn your car 90 degrees when jumping or freewheeling. Okay, that makes sense. Proceed to bug slide. Okay, so I figured out that part, the last part. I have no idea what a RAM bug is, though.
About the DO7N shortcut, and a few players started seriously experimenting with the idea. One of those players was Dwarker. In October of 2019, Dwarker started playing DO7, practicing the engine off skip and the shortcut. And all
Love
of
the
a sudden,
soundtrack, by the way.
he had this attempt.
Holy shit! Wait! I was too busy listening to the music, guys.
And all of a sudden, he had this attempt.
RAM bug. Okay. My current theory: RAM bug is when you ram into the wall. Look at this. See that? Did he touch it? It looked like he touched it. Oh no! God,
For
that
the
was
first time, players had very real proof that the DO7
Fuck.
shortcut was
He
more
was
than
so
just a meme for
close.
an April Fool's joke.
I'll move my camera so you can read the text.
Dwarker quickly started going for it.
Read these Discord messages, guys. These are for you.
Players had very real proof that the DO7 shortcut was more than just a meme or an April Fool's joke, and that it could potentially be possible.
Sexy bug slide with one back wheel. Alex, I kind of want to get the game now.
Wheel map. His consistency at the engine off skip was incredible, and he could usually get an attempt at the end bounce every 30 minutes or so.
Holy shit. Considering that only 2 people have done that before, that is wild, right?
DO7, something other players struggle to do.
He could get it once every 30 minutes. Next thing he says, after getting it over 100 times. Alright, bro. He spent at least 50 hours. But realistically, it's probably like hundreds because these guys are
Just
sick
once,
in the best way possible.
He still hadn't gotten a bounce into the finish. Seeing how close Dwarker was getting, Hefest decided to join the hunt on the track.
Hefest.
And together, they put in a Herculean effort to try to do the DO7 shortcut. Playing the track for over 250 hours each.
I just called it.
Thousands of attempts.
I called it, guys.
Eventually,
Heard
they
it from me
had both
first.
skipped the engine off block over 500 times each, but neither of them had gotten a bounce that
Holy
flew into
shit.
the finish. And though they were getting so close, many spectators following their grind were starting to lose faith in the shortcut idea.
Let's read the text.
And wondered if
Just need to jump more right. Edge. Yeah,
maybe it
humans
just
can't do
wasn't
that.
possible to go those few.
Edge is not a
Humans
believer,
inside-
but we're believers. We see the title of the video. We're believers.
meters
Thankfully, I'm an
to
animal.
reach the finish line.
Hey, yeah, he does
But
have a duck in his
Dwarker
profile
and
picture.
Hefest
Good point.
never lost faith. These pioneers continued to grind the track, as they were convinced it was just barely possible, and they wanted to prove everyone else wrong.
Come on. Ah! Yeah,
And
same.
in December of 2020, a third player joined their efforts, Roland. Roland had been watching them try the DO7 shortcut for a while, and in the tail end of 2020,
Is it
he fancied
impossible to
trying it
join?
himself. He quickly learned the shortcut approach from
sorry.
Dwarker 20.
FWO, no idea what that means. Like, no, undone. Nadio. Cuts be out there. Oh, like, oh, okay. I'm assuming Nadio is the name of the game or the company. No, the game is Trackmania. Okay, I'll assume it's the company. Except that impossible DO7 heresy.
2020, he
Okay.
fancied trying it himself. He quickly
So is
learned
Roland
the
a
shortcut
beast?
approach from Dwarker and Hafast, and soon enough, he was able to get a few end and off skips himself.
Alright, okay, so Roland is a
And
beast.
then, on the 3rd of December 2020,
One of the three beasts.
seemingly out of nowhere, 7 years after the first end and off
Riolo,
skip,
judged by the skin.
3.5 years after
Riolo,
the
sorry.
inception of the end shortcut, and over 1 year after Dwarker and Hafast first started trying it, Roland drove this
Oh,
legendary
Roland,
run
okay.
on DO7 race.
A slow start, but it doesn't matter because you'll gain so much time at the end, and there's no way in hell anyone's ever gonna beat the end time. Okay, I see. So part of the strategy for this is 100% just ignoring the start, because the cut is so hard to do that it's not worth restarting the start just to try the cut again, because like how much time you have at the start don't matter. It won't affect how you do at the end, as long as you don't lose all of your speed, I'm guessing. See it? Ah! Let's go! My dog showed up. Man, what a good video. It's not quite the end yet. Dog, shut the fuck up. Not quite the end yet, but I'm gonna give it a like now.
Roland had done it. A perfect engine off skip combined with a perfect end bounce that sent him flying just high enough to majestically soar into the finish, setting a new world record of 45.79, shaving almost 3 seconds off the record and proving that the
Considering that people are fighting for 400th of a second, this is
was
huge.
indeed possible. And that is where the DO7 world.
And honestly, it's interesting because nobody, after someone set like a really good normal record, like using the first two shortcuts, no one even tried to do it to two shortcuts method better, because someone that was just expecting a person to do the giga impossible shortcut eventually.
Stands
And
today.
13 years later,
But if
here they
it
go.
hadn't been for the pioneers, we might have never seen it done. It is for those
That's
who dare to
fucking
think outside
wild.
the box and continuously seek for new ways to improve on DO7 that we have to thank for such an incredible story as this one.
Hell yeah, we
Especially
do.
Hafas and Dwarker, who dared to push onwards for over a year.
Exactly, shit like that
despite the
doesn't happen without sicko people who are willing to dedicate their heart. No, shut the fuck up. Dedicate like 100 hours, 200, 500 hours of their life for a single Trackmania map. Like, I guess you just get yourself a good soundtrack in the background. Hope you don't get bored. Maybe turn up a Yahazek reaction video in the background. Isn't that right, guys? Subscribe.
seeming impossibility of the shortcut, because they believed in the idea. And let it stand as a reminder that when you see a new
Sorry.
idea,
Why-
assess it critically, rather than to just scoff it
Oh,
off
sorry.
as impossible. Because more
Let's read that text
believe in
again.
the idea.
My face was covering
And
half
let
of
it
it.
stand as a
The problem with DO7 is that the cut is actually impossible.
reminder that when you see a new idea, to assess it critically, rather than to just scoff it off as impossible. Because more often than not,
Oh, it's the edge guy. The doubter is the doubter.
rather than to just scoff it off as impossible. Because more often than not, someone will eventually go out there and prove you wrong. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then subscribe to the channel.
Yo, boys, subscribe to Virtual. Holy shit, what a good video. Yeah. Yeah, so could you stay, man? Sick vid, bro. In case you've never watched this video somehow and you're watching mine first, nah, even if you have, just go give it another watch, okay? That's the nice thing to do, especially after I use his own content for my YouTube. I think it's the nice thing to do. See you in the next reaction, boys. Great channel. Well, we'll definitely check out another one of his videos soon. Maybe even like today. I don't know. Subscribe to my main channel. Bye.